everyone, it's Nick here on Nick's News and Reviews, of course, and we're showing today, or at least trying to, Q&A 8. Yes, chapter 8. We've got up to 8 of these things, so thanks for all the questions that have come in. We've got quite a lot this time on 2 bits of paper, so this may go on a bit, but it's your own fault. 8, October. Why is October the 10th month when Oct means 8? It's about time they fix that or something. I better start, better I? Okay, so a mixture of questions this week as usual. So we'll start with Stuart Sumner, a question I should have asked on Q&A 7, but for some reason I missed it in my notes. Sorry about that, but here we go. He asks, Doctor Who is one of my favourite TV shows. Are you into it? And which is your favourite Doctor? Well, I am into Doctor Who, as a matter of fact. The new series is going to start later this month, but I've always watched Doctor Who since a kid, starting off with Tom Baker, the 4th Doctor. John Pertwee was the 3rd one, who also played Wurzel Gummidge, but that was a bit early for me. So I come in at the Tom Baker era. He ran for about 6 years. I also used to get the magazine as Doctor Who as well, so you could say I was a bit of a fan. And, well, my favourite Doctor then, no surprise, is Tom Baker as the 4th Doctor. He had the long scarf and the big hat, so he's probably the most iconic of all the Doctors. But I do like all of them to a very degree. David Tennant was absolutely superb. Capaldi, I'm still not sure about him, but he's bringing a new dimension to it, a bit old school. So, yeah, they've all been good. I love the original couple of Masters, though, that played the parties at Arch Nemesis. So, yes, Doctor Who. Thumbs up. And now from Harold Gonk in a related question. Which Doctor Who assistant would you like to go on a date with? I could get myself into trouble here. So you want brainy people or just girls with assets, or I don't know. But anyway, there's a lot of assistants, haven't there? And the Doctor always seems quite clever at picking attractive ones. Clara Oswald, she's quite nice, but will get on my nerves. But out of all of them, I think I'll pick an assistant that travelled around with the 5th Doctor briefly, and then the 6th Doctor, Colin Baker, and his multicoloured costume. We go for Perry Brown. Yeah, Perry Brown, for reasons I don't want to go into. Played by Nicola Bryant. Yes, I think that's right, Perry Brown. Okay, next question. Going off Doctor Who now. Kingston LJ. He asks, which of these 1980s kids films is the best? Now this sort of thing is always tricky, but here are the choices, see what you think. He puts here Never Ending Story, The Goonies or Explorers. Now the Never Ending Story, that always confused me a little bit because the story did actually end, didn't it? I mean, if you was going to the cinema and expecting to see Never Ending Story and it ended in about an hour and a half to 2 hours, you'd want your money back. I mean, some people might have seen it as a loophole to get free rent forever in the cinema, or at least only about £6 and just stay there and live there. But out of those 3, The Explorers, I don't like it too much. It's okay, but I don't think I've ever seen it the whole through. But Goonies for the win. Got to go with Goonies. It's got Short Round in it from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. And also that fat kid called Chunk. Was he called Chunk? I think he was. But he was outstanding. So I'll go with the Goonies. Now, next question by Kingston again. What would you do if Timmy Mallet thumbed down all your videos? Well, the thumbing down is a bit anonymous, but if there's only one person doing it and they're a subscriber, you can pretty much break down quite easily who it is, I think. Or at least narrow it down to a few people you suspect who it is. I think Timmy Mallet's got better things to do than thumbing down my videos, but if he did, I'd probably kill him. No, that's a lie, actually. Thumbing down doesn't seem to make any difference anymore. The person doing the thumbing down thinks they're causing havoc, but really they're just creating activity. To give you an example, a large channel, I don't know if you ever come across it, is Angry Joe. One time I looked at one of his videos, it had about 100,000 views, there's 3,000 likes and about 600 dislikes, so it makes no bloody difference. But yeah, Timmy Mallet, if he thumbed him down, well, good luck to you, sir. I mean, your career was at a higher than TVAM doing the kids slot, but if you're now, that's what it's come to, well, good luck. At least it keeps you off the streets. Next questions, which I have to watch how I say this, because I quite often get people's names wrong, especially if they're a long username instead of their actual name. But this question comes from, I think, Watch Read Play Retro. He asks, did you ever used to enter 80s, 90s competitions in magazines, i.e. win a game or an arcade cabinet or such? And what was one, if any, that you remember really wanting to win? I didn't tend to enter those magazine competitions too much, I don't think. But there was one, it wasn't really computer related, and it's a bit stupid really, but there's one I really wanted to win once, and it was this company in the magazine was giving away free like sports balls, like rugby balls, basketballs, footballs, but the rub was they was pattern gimmick to have a really scary face on. I would have been in the laughing stock of the playground if I won that. But I thought they looked pretty cool. Pretty good job I didn't win that. The other one, this was a computer related one, which I actually did win. It was from a smaller magazine, I can't remember what it's called now. It was a Cool Spot competition where you had to write a limerick, and the prize was a mug. And I won the mug, but they sent it in inappropriate packaging. I think it was an envelope, and it come through the letterbox all smashed. That was a great prize, Cool Spot. Yeah, so you could have won that. Great stuff, eh? Yes, and after that I probably didn't enter any others. I didn't think it was winnable, or anything decent anyway. Back to Stuart Sumner now with a few of recent questions. I've got two from him which we'll go for because they're both sort of related. I think I can assume, well it's always dangerous to assume, Stuart, but I think I can assume you're a Red Dwarf fan. Oh well, you're correct. So my first question is, given that God is infinite, and the universe is also infinite, yes, would you like a toasted tea cake? Ah, yeah, okay. That was a reference to Talkie Toaster, wasn't it? I'm up with it. I'm down with it. Talkie Toaster was an AI computer toaster which is supposed to offer the diners at the breakfast table relaxed intelligent speech before their day started, but it was a bread obsessed machine, and unless you wanted 12 rounds of toast every second or something, it'll go absolutely mental. So best to say, yeah, I would like a toasted tea cake. Yes, thank you very much. Next question, what is your favourite Red Dwarf moment? Oh my god, my hat's gone wonky, is it? No. Oh my god, I mean, Red Dwarf is now in its 10th season. I think they're writing the 11th and the 12th season at the same time. And although I like the older Red Dwarfs better, there's just been so many moments, so I'll just touch on one. My favourite one's from a show or episode called Body Swap. It might have been series 5 or maybe 4. But basically, it's at the start of the show, and one of the scutters, that's one of the ship droids that go around repairing odd bits, has gone mental and rewired the whole ship. Now, Lister is told not to touch anything because the bomb's wired up to something, the self-destruct mechanism, but they don't know what. And he goes to a vending machine not thinking, oh, this is a crispy bar, and it sets off the self-destruct system. So that's my favourite moment, and the punchline on that is they think the bomb's going to go off, they fail to disarm it, and then just a crunchy bar or whatever comes out of the vending machine, and the cat says, you're lucky you didn't order a double cheeseburger. There's loads of great moments. So if you ask me that next week, I'll probably say something different. But Red Dwarf, what a show, what a show. And talking of great shows, Retro Rambles asks, with stories of a remake of The Crystal Maze, including Richard O'Brien as a possible presenter, he was the original presenter, what's your thoughts on this? Personally, Retro Rambles would love the original Crystal Maze. Well, they're up against it really, because when something is so good, it's very hard to recreate the show coming back. But if they can get the original presenter, Richard O'Brien, now halfway there, I mean, there's other classic shows I like, The Great Egg Race with Professor Heinz Wolf, I don't know if you're familiar with that, but Crystal Maze, or Crystal Meth, no, Crystal Maze. That was a great show. I don't know if you're familiar with it, you probably are. But basically, teams of players run around this fantasy world divided into different zones. I think it's futuristic, Aztec, industrial, maybe ocean, I think. And they had certain time limits in different rooms. A member of each team would go in the room individually and have to solve the puzzle, get out before the time ticks down, and then in turn get a crystal, which is worth seconds when you went to the crystal dome at the end. I haven't explained that very well. But anyway, Google it. No, YouTube it. Crystal Maze. I would like that show to come back. It would be good. I mean, I've heard rumours it is coming back as well with Richard O'Brien. There was another host of that show called Ed Tudor Pole, which he was okay, did a fair job. It wasn't good as old Richard there. I want it to come back. That would be good. I would definitely watch. Daniel Cordell. Now, he asked a question that I don't fully understand, but I'll read it out and try my best with it. Now, Spectrum Vega games console with the new multicolours mode, or Main Master Alan's Ultimate ZX Spectrum computer with all the classic modes and the rubber keyboard, which one would you upgrade to if you had the cash, or would you use both? Now, I'm familiar with Alan's channel, Main Master. He's a very entertaining chap. He does his Friday waffles each week. He's a good guy, although he always calls me Neil for some reason. I say always, about 3 times. That isn't really always, is it? Has he invented a computer? He might have done. I don't know. I have to go for the Spectrum Vega because that's a plug-in play, and I know that one exists. The other one, you have to enlighten me on that. But a Spectrum with all the different modes, all the different computers. Now that'd be awesome. If I had the cash, well, let's just say both. Although I don't know what Alan's is. But Vega, that's cool. Although it's a bit too expensive at the moment. They need to bring the price down, I'd say. Right, next up. Oh, it's the trickiest question yet. We're really getting into tough territory now. Right, Watch, Read, Play Retro asks, cabbage, lettuce, spinach or bay leaf? Question mark. It depends what you're using it for, really. If you're trying to scare a polar bear, probably a cabbage. You can throw it at it and run off. If it's for a tasty meal, let's go for a spinach because that's got iron in it for strength. If you're on a diet, probably lettuce. Bay leaf, I don't know. A modesty belt for an ant. Let's go for spinach. I've seen Popeye. We'll go for that. I'm sure that's what you meant. Next. Have you heard of Zoids? Asks Watch, Read, Play Retro. Sort of. Newer Japanese anime or original UK comic or the 80s toys. Did you own any Zoids? Well, not really. I'm aware Zoids were sort of like robot animals. I do remember the dinosaurs. You can buy it as toys and stuff, and they was a bit like Transformers, but not, if you know what I mean. Nah, I didn't own any Zoids. I found it hard to get into those, to be honest, although they did seem rather cool toys, but that sort of thing just seemed to pass me by. Zoids. Had a cool name, though, didn't it? I think I was into Terrorhawks at the time. Yeah, kill me. No, don't kill me. I know there's... yes, don't. Next up, we got 3 questions in succession from the great Harold Gonk, who reviews Spectrum games from time to time. He asks, who's your favourite magician? Faye Presto? Paul Daniels? Yeah, or Basil Brush? I find all those pretty annoying, especially Basil Brush, who says boom boom, and I don't think he's a real fox. Paul Daniels? Well, his bestest trick ever was getting Debbie Magoo to fall in love with him. I think she's called Debbie Magoo because she can't see properly. So maybe it wasn't such a trick. Faye Presto. Out of those 3 I go for Paul Daniels, but if you'd mentioned the great Soprendo with his magic Piff Paff Poof, he was from round about the same era, I'd cheat. My favourite magician out of those 3 is the great Soprendo, the one you didn't mention. I think he married Victoria Wood in the end, didn't he? Citation needed. I think he did. Right, what is your favourite meal? Well, I like lots of stuff, but my favourite type of food is Italian, so I'll go for a creamy lasagna al forno. That can't be beat. Quick meal, beans on toast, but lasagna al forno at a restaurant, splendido. And now Gonk asks here, Harold, he asks, what's your favourite Spectrum magazine? Now, at the time, I didn't really have much money, so I didn't really get into magazine buying until the Amiga came out, which I bought Amiga Format and Amiga Power. I did occasionally read Your Sinclair, so I have to say that's my favourite one from default there. But I never really was that into them. But they were good because they had programs you could do and so forth. The magazine, because my parents let us have one magazine each, me and my sister, and I wimped out really. I went for a stupid comic called Oink, which it wasn't really PC, a bit Viz-ish. If you was an Oink reader, I don't know what their circulation was, but it was a mad comic. Yeah, it was ridiculous. If you've read Oink or a copy of Oink, comment below. I'd like to hear from you. I don't think there was many of us about. Next couple of questions from Kingston LJ. He asked this time round, which of these games to film adaptations did you enjoy the most? Resident Evil, it's a choice thing again. Helen Brockovich was in that, was she? Or Helen Brockovich or someone. Resident Evil, Tomb Raider or Doom? Tomb Raider. I'll have to go with Tomb Raider with Angelina Jolie. It had Chris Barry as the butler in that, briefly, from Red Dwarf, who played Arnold Rimmer. Maybe that's why. But I'm a big Tomb Raider fan, so I'll go for that film franchise. Yeah, just based on that and that alone. Resident Evil, I haven't really got into that too much, or Doom, but Tomb Raider is iconic, so we'll go with that. Now Kingston asks, the eternal question has always been, which is best, Sega or Nintendo? What do you think? Now this is console wars, isn't it? This has been going on since the dawn of computers were invented. From early as I can remember, it used to be Spectrum 48K versus Commodore 64, what was best, and kill the person who thought different to you. Then it was Amiga versus Atari ST, Sega versus Nintendo having their own fight, and now PlayStation versus Xbox. I'd say sweep that all under the carpet. It just creates arguments what's best. They're all good, depending on the games, so I can't... Which is best, Sega or Nintendo? I'll have to wimp out and say neither. I like all of these systems there. I can't decide. I mean, if you grew up with a Sega, great. If you grew up with a Nintendo, also great. One isn't better than the other, although individual game conversions might be different. For example, when I owned an Amiga, I didn't know anyone that owned an Atari ST, but the games were very, very similar. I think the Amiga might have had some sound differences. But, you know, games are games. You enjoy it, you get what you're out of it. So, there we go. Okay, next question. Stuart Sumner. Oh, Tomb Raider again. Tomb Raider is obviously a game that you like. Yeah, well done. I do like that game. Have you ever played any of the Uncharted series of games? Heavily influenced by Tomb Raider and are amazing, by the way. Well, I haven't owned them. I played them briefly around friends' house. I might have played Uncharted 3 if I'm not getting that mixed up with another game. But the graphics were outstanding. It's true, it is a bit Tomb Raider-ish. Some people say it's better than that, heavily influenced by that, but a lot of games were. I haven't got a great knowledge of Uncharted. Maybe I should get a copy in the distant future, maybe have a review of it. A complete walkthrough, I'm not sure about that, because I'm struggling with Tomb Raider 2 at the moment to put that together. So, yeah, I'll just concentrate on that. Uncharted, it's a good series though, isn't it? Right, next bit of paper. Right, here we go. Oh, another one from Stuart Sumner. Thank you, dear fellow. Now, he says he had a school friend that went on to work for Core Design, and then later did the crawl animation for Lara Croft in Tomb Raider The Last Revolution. I don't think he worked on that game. He worked on Tomb Raider The Last Revelation. That's the 4th instalment of the Tomb Raider games. That's quite a biggie. My question to you is, have you ever known anyone that went on to be famous apart from Igor? I don't think Igor's that famous, is he? When we do the Random Wednesday question, I think we get up to about 50 views. So I don't think that's famous, but he might be famous in his own realm. I haven't known anyone to go on to be famous, but apart from a sister of someone I once knew that went on to go onto Babe Station. Let's move on. No, I won't say any names here. Next question from Watch, Read, Play Retro. He asks, did you ever try to learn BASIC or any other programming language to learn some software quite well, e.g. Amiga music trackers or paint programs? Well, yes, I did, as a matter of fact. I used my computer quite a lot for educational things, or pretended to. I did quite a lot of animation work on Deluxe Paint 3. That's an evolution of Deluxe Paint 2, of course, and had an animations package, which the previous one didn't. It was quite easy to use, and I'd like to, on this channel, do a bit of animation, and a bit of stop animation if I get time, but it's so time consuming, it's a bit of a project. But I did have fun making stupid videos with that, made quite a few. I think some of them might be on Cine Camera in the loft somewhere, I think, but you had to send it away to be developed, not like the digital age, so maybe I'll find it a bit quicker. Also, I dabbled with Amos a bit, but could never get the hang of it. That was on the Commodore Amiga, which allowed you to design simple games, like maze games. You had to collect keys and various things like that, but I never got a hang of it. There was another game of utility I sort of remember called 3D Games Designer. That was either on the Spectrum or the Amiga, which hinted of by using it you could design your own Space Invaders type game with lots of variety, but I wanted to design a boxing game. It wasn't really compatible and I got bored quite quickly. I had a go with music trackers, but selecting your instruments and the beats, I'm not musically gifted in terms of instruments. I had a bit more success on an 8-track where I can just lay down the sound separately, but not really that good really. I tried to learn not my kids, I haven't got any kids. My parents, not that I know of, my parents bought me piano lessons as a kid, which I absolutely hated because I didn't get on with it at all. So music trackers weren't really me. Next question is sort of connected. Did your parents, not yours, mine, did your parents hope you use your Amiga for more educational purposes, or did they not mind it being used just as a games machine? Well, as I sort of like alighted to there, I didn't just use it for games, although I did play quite a lot of games on it. I did do a few other things as well. I'm one of those people that wasted so much time doing nothing, trying to create something and things not saving properly and discs getting corrupted. But I did dabble, especially with graphics, which might not show on this channel what I've learned so far. But we're still working on it. It's a lifetime project. Okay, next question. We ain't got too many left now. Next question, Kingston LJ. Which crisps are best? Are you still with me? Which crisps are best? Whatsits, Skips, Discos or Monster Munch? Now I can't get on with Monster Munch. The pickled onion flavour's way too strong. It weren't too bad as a kid, but now eating them now it makes my eyes roll round like a fruit machine. Discos, bit too salty if you ask me. Skips, I'm not a big fan of those. I think they should be taken away in a skip. The prawn cocktail flavour makes me feel a little bit ill. It's a good job Quavers weren't there. I might have gone for that. Or what are the bacon ones? Frazzles. I like them. But out of your selection, I'll go for Whatsits. I've recently come across some right cool crisps from the pound shop called Brannigan's. You can get beef and mustard flavour or ham and pickle. A pound for 5 bags of crisps. And they're proper chunky pub crisps where you need a pint of beer with, which unfortunately the pound shop don't sell. Otherwise it might be a bit more packed. But Whatsits, Kingston, out of the ones you mentioned, but Brannigan's of all time. Brannigan's crisps, track them down in the pound shop if they've got them. Now we've got a few Igor type questions. I knew this would happen. I'll answer a few of them and then maybe I'll ask him the rest of them. Okay, Retro Rambles. Can we see what Igor looks like? No. Well, maybe if we get a big injection of cash and the budget improves, maybe we could get him on screen. But it's a delicate task, so it's looking unlikely. It's more for your protection than his, really. Okay. Watch Replay Retro. How old is Igor? I don't know. Let's ask him. We're bound to get a sensible answer.
Right, Igor. We got some questions for you for Q&A 8.
What?
Q&A 8. People ask questions and we try and answer them. Watch Read Play Retro asks, Igor, how old are you?
I don't know. What sort of question's that? 80-something?
80-something?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter anyway. At Thorpe Park, they still wouldn't let me on any of the rides. They said I was too small.
Right, okay, fair enough. Kingston LJ asks you, is Paul Daniels a good or bad wizard?
He's not a wizard. He's always cheating. The best wizard is Jack Daniels. He can make the room spin in half an hour.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Right, okay, I am enjoying asking you questions as opposed to you asking me them.
Yeah.
Anyway, last one's from Hannibal Solo. He says, if you say your name backwards out loud, does anything happen?
No.
Brilliant. Another very detailed answer. Well done.
I'm going. Bye.
Well, there you go. I don't know whose answers were the worst, mine or Igor's brief foray there. So that was Q&A 8. Thank you to everyone that asked the question there to make this thing possible. There may be a Q&A 9. I say this at the end of every video, not expecting any questions to come in, and 2 weeks later there's another instalment. So if you have any questions for myself, Igor, or anything at all, doesn't matter what subject, TV programs, science, cheese, anything. If you've got any questions, put them below. That's what I'm trying to say. Thanks for watching as always, and till next time, take care and goodbye.
Goodbye.